Do you have a tendency to put others' needs before yourself, even if it makes your goals disappear? You may have OPPD. Stay tuned to figure it out. All right, welcome to another episode of Haire. So we are talking about the DSM, disorders of social media, and today's episode is about OPPD, aka obsessive people pleasing disorder. Don't worry, I've dealt with it too as well. So we're gonna go into the symptoms. Symptom number 1, you make people feel comfortable even if it's at the detriment of your own comfort. I also have number 2, raised to please your parents, and the punishment would be disappointment or lack of love. Number 3, you have a tendency to attract users, and that's including partners, jobs, and friendships. Number 4, you have a tendency to rush milestones in order to appease others. And number 5, you have jealousy of those who stand on business. So basically, obsessive people-pleasing disorder, I wanted to add this to volume 1. I am working on volume 2 as well. Volume 1 should have 10 disorders that I feel like are very relevant to most people's growth, and also the ones that are current in current pop. I would definitely say with OPPD, I feel like everybody has this to some degree. I mean, some people, those 3 people who swear that nobody, those people who swear that whatever they do, they don't do it for anybody else. But I do feel like there is a certain degree. I mean, I'm on here and I look decent. Like I could easily came on here looking crazy, but there's a level of people pleasing that I have to do in order to retain followers. And then people pleasing as well with hygiene. Like there's some people who there are some people who go around smelling, someone's coming up that they smell and they don't care about anything. But for the majority, like most of us, get ready, get beautified, hygienic for others. Like there's a level of people pleasing that everybody has. It's just that once it gets to the extreme, there are consequences that follow. I do feel like the home situation, when there's people pleasing, especially with your parents, there's a level of people pleasing that everybody else, their parents as well. That's why us millennials who were people pleasers to their parents, like me, we have a tendency to rebel later on in life. But definitely for sure, obsessive people pleasing disorder is definitely there. I can definitely say too, OPPD is also susceptible to people who have low self-esteem. So if you feel like you don't have your own organic self-esteem, which I tell you guys about that all the time, you have to have your own level of organic. Organic self-esteem is not made from comparison. And that's the problem. That's why you'll see somebody, who compares themselves to other people, like, oh, well, at least I'm not like so-and-so. So what's so-and-so? Because God has a tendency to do that. That person you were making fun of, now this person is excelling past you. Now you have no self-esteem now. That's why it has to be organic. So definitely for sure, I have noticed that with OPPD, like a lot of people who have this are people who do have low self-esteem. And it is everything's in balance. Then you have the extreme version of that, which would be, egotistical. But I can definitely say for sure, like the majority of the times that I've seen it happen with someone who has, I've identified they have OPPD. Also, they have a tendency to, even if their partner disagrees on something, they'll go along with the majority. That's another thing too, as well, is that with OPPD, you have a tendency to not have a sense of self. You have a tendency to follow others, even though you know it's wrong, but you don't have a sense of self. So that's why I said like having self-esteem can very much combat having OPPD. Like having self-esteem can definitely it can definitely assist with it. But another one is almost like a level of brainwashing. With brainwashing, with OPPD, brainwashing basically like just repetitively saying to yourself, I have to make these people happy, I have to make everybody else happy. There is a tendency in that regard with OPPD that there is a level of like almost hypnosis to them. Like even though they can sit there and tell you to your face, yeah, the next time I see this person, I'm gonna put myself first. As soon as they do it, it's like a hypnosis. I must obey what this person has to say. So that's why I said like there is a certain level that when it comes to like brainwashing, there is a certain level of like they're just used to it. And a lot of people say they will stand up for stuff. As someone who has walked a lot of paths alone, I can tell you that a lot of people have OPPD, but they do not want to admit it. So we're going to go into the side effects. So side effects of unbrainwashing. Basically, once you solve yourself OPPD, which is from time, a lot of side effects that you're going to lose jobs, you're going to lose friends, you're going to lose romantic interest, because a lot of people like this, that's like I noticed that when I used to people please, I did realize that I had more friends. I feel like I have a good group now, but I feel like I had a lot of friends. Like I'm talking about a group of 20 of us. I used to have so many friends when I would people please, and I understand that now. I understand that aspect because of the fact that like you're not combative. You're basically a minion that they can tell what to do and not have to worry about any pushback towards it. So I think in that same aspect, I think there was a lot of that push to just obey because you wanted so many friends. And then also with partners, there's a lot of partners out there that they want you to not have. There's a lot of partners out there, they don't want you to have boundaries so they can be able to use you. And then jobs as well. There's some jobs where if they know, like there's literally some jobs that if they know that you're going to people please, like if they know you're going to people please, they're going to give you jobs that no one else wants to do because your innate sense to serve, your innate sense to have purpose, get that reinforcement, that's going to excel your own self-interest. Okay. So also have, once you get unbrainwashed from the OPPD, you also are very precise on who you let have access to you and for how long. Like you start putting up barriers. And I feel like there's a certain level that you need to have barriers up. There's a lot of users out there. Like, there's a lot of users, no Microsoft. Like there's a lot of users out there. Like I do feel like once you start putting up, I do feel like once you start putting up boundaries, like you need to upheld them when it comes to access. Like one thing I've learned about social media is that social media gives us so much access to everybody, but we still don't have access to them, if that makes any sense. That's why you'll see people like someone's more likely to call you if they see that you have not posted on social media compared to if they see you in person and see that you don't feel good. Like they need to have access to whatever you're doing every day. So when you get removed from people pleasing, you are quick to be very concise about who has access to you. And then, so I have on here as well, is that you have overexertion of boundaries. Me, as someone who was a former people pleaser, I am very adamant about my boundaries. Like there's a certain level that is almost aggressive. Like it's like, did you need something? Like even something as small as, I assert my boundaries, even something as small as when someone asks me a simple question. So let's say you come up to me, you're a stranger, and you're just like, hey, where are you headed to? A place. Oh, what's your name? I didn't give it. Like once you get to the point where you're done people pleasing, like you're done serving other people, you're now focused on serving your own life. You're now focused on serving your own purpose now. Like you're not going to want to please anybody but yourself. Now, mind you, there's a certain level that does turn into selfishness. I didn't say lose your empathy along the way, but definitely for sure, like me, like I'm very adamant about my boundaries, and some people may not like it. Some people may not want to be my friend anymore. But once you get to that level past people pleasing, once you get past that level, you are so content with your own company. You're so content with your own peace, because one thing for certain that I can definitely say, if you don't take nothing from this video, life is short, but it's also long. So if you want to sit there and you want to live your life for other people, just know they would never do it the same. The only person who you need to be worried about is the person you look at in the mirror every morning. Okay? Unless there's a ghost, I don't know. But the person who you look at the beginning of the morning, like whoever you wake up with, which is yourself. Okay? You look in the mirror, that's who you need to be worried about, okay? Like the one thing I've noticed is that my life always goes awry once I start putting people up first. I've always noticed that. When I focus on myself and I truly focus on my goals, I realize that my life is always on point when I'm worried about Claire. When I start worrying about this person, worry about that person. Like, it's okay to have empathy for others. I don't want you guys to misconstrue what I'm saying, but it's okay to have sympathy for others. But if it's at the detriment of your own, like, you ever notice that on an airplane, they always say, secure your airbag first, then look around and see if anybody else needs help. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, okay? So my solution is, since I have a solution, my solution is healthy balance. I feel like there's a certain level that you should people please, as in, like, you should just be considerate. Like, I don't want to call it people please. I would say you're being considerate, you know? Like, for example, like, I don't know, I have 4 siblings. If you know there's a swallow in the bottle, just finish the juice, you know, but you should be considerate. But there should be a healthy level of balance. Now, mind you, for the people who, the first thing you're gonna say, well, my parents have no boundaries, like, that is someone who feels like they own you, parentheses. That's a whole different video. If you want to talk about that, you let me know and I will get you with a licensed therapist, because I cannot help you there. Okay, some of these parents, but I definitely feel like it's a practice. Like, you're always practicing. You know how they always say we're practicing medicine? So it's a practice. Like, it's not gonna happen overnight. Because I remember the first time I set a boundary, because I have this tendency that, you know, I know how to do hair. This is Claire hair. So I have a tendency that whenever someone asks me to help them with their hair, I automatically go running. I'm like, okay, you need help, I'm on my way. Now I'm just like, did I fold the laundry? Did I take a nap? Did I do my own hair? Then I go assist. I don't do that anymore. I make sure Claire, like, whenever someone's like, even if it's a group of people and they're just like, hey Claire, can you help me with my makeup? I need to do Claire's makeup first. You know, and I used to be that person. I would go rush to help and try to be like, oh my God, like, how can I assist this person? Like, I do Claire's makeup first. And if there's any time left over, then I go help you. Okay. So, I would also say too, a solution is acceptance. Like, I feel like a lot of things we were not told was that you need to accept that there's going to be people who are going to hate that you're not a people pleaser. Okay. They're going to hate it. Like, to them, they're just like, no, like, if I can't take advantage of this person, what was the point of all this? Like, that's why I said there's going to be people who they're going to hate that. They're going to hate that you're not a people pleaser. They're going to hate that. And you have to be prepped for that. You have to be ready for that. Because a lot of people they're not ready. They're just like, oh my God, I didn't know they were going to do da-da-da. Like, you have to be ready for the fact that people aren't going to like that and accept that. You have to be comfortable with uncomfortable silences, because sometimes you'll say something that's, you know, out of pocket, and they're going to have to just deal with it. They're going to have to work through it. I would let me just really talk with y'all, because like I said, this is something that I struggle with a lot in my 20s. I'm in my 30s, I don't care, okay? But I would tell you this, okay, as I wrap up this video. I know people who are 40, 50, 60, 70, and they're still obsessive people pleasing. You only get one life. Unless you believe in reincarnation, I don't know. You only get one life. So just imagine you have one time. Like, my favorite analogy is that this is my movie theater. Okay? I'm showing the Claire show for 33 years now. If you don't like where it's going, you can leave my movie theater. That's the mindset you need to have. You can leave my movie theater at any time. This is my show. Like, sometimes people forget, like with people who have OPPD, like, you need to remind yourself that this is your TV show. This is the Claire Line show. Ooh, I said my full name. This is the Claire Haire show, right? You can leave at any time. Yes, sometimes the audience members have a tendency to put advice in the advice box, but it's your show. Like, I can't tell you how many times people have sat there and they don't agree with my decisions. They're mad at I'm not pushing fast towards milestones or taking my time towards milestones. Like, I have said several times, the door is right there. The door, if people don't like what you're doing in your life, the door is right there. It's always been open. The movie theater does not have a lock on it. This is my life. If you don't like what's being showed, you can leave. Like, there's nobody holding you here. But like I said, like some people, they will literally sit in your movie theater, parentheses, and want to be present because they're afraid that the moment they leave that movie theater, your movie theater is going to have no access to it. So you guys decide how you want to live the next whatever umpteenth years you have. But don't forget to subscribe, share. It's Claire here.